Good evening, everybody. Hey, well, what do you do on a wonderful weekend? You're not playing Fortnite. Go live with a nice chill stream. Do something a little bit different. Yeah. So War of the Misses out with solos earlier. Well, with Fortnite earlier. Castle jumped on with us. We didn't win, but we had fun and stunning. You know what a great time was had by all. But tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different because normally this block is a time I don't get to really stream. So I'll take advantage of it for some openings now on a holiday weekend. But who else is there that to come on at a spur of the moment, out of nowhere, to decide to be Dadman's wingman to help us go for probably 20 hours tonight? It's the one, the only, the great Hungry Boy.
20 hours. Oh my God. The idea of me being up for 20 hours. No, you don't want that. But I love the nickname of Dad Man's Wingman. And I might be using that in Sunday Night Geekery
I
tonight,
like that.
later on. I
Every
like it
streamer,
too.
every streamer's got to have a wingman. You're my wingman here with stuff like this. So hey, when we go live and we talk, Lisa's been my wingman in Fortnite a lot when the missus hadn't been available. So
That's right. Oh,
you know,
Lisa's fantastic at that. Yes,
yeah,
she's fantastic
Abbott's
at that.
got, Bud has Abbott, or whichever. All the different things and all, and
Yeah.
it's hard to do this stuff on your own by yourself. I think those that can do it on their own just are incredibly talented. Just it's a remarkable talent uh,
Yes.
to be able to carry a show and talk all your own. Who one of my favorite ones to listen that does it almost all
Mm,
by themselves is
mm,
Ang.
yes. Oh, interesting. Okay.
I know a lot of people don't go Twitch, and I hope Ang will start doing more on YouTube. But if you ever have a chance to listen to Ang, Kid can go for hours, engages the chat, and just very natural. And it's a wonderful thing.
Well, and
So
also her conversations with you when you're talking. I mean, one of the things I love, speaking about natural, since it is a chill chat, so we don't have to stick to one topic. The thing
right.
is that
Well, besides, what stream could we ever do where we stick to one damn topic?
I know it's like Johnny Carson if somebody slipped him some LSD in his coffee. You know what I mean? Going back
God.
to the old days. But and thank you, Lisa. Oh, we love seeing
Well, we'll
Lisa in
read
the
the
chat.
chat in a second. Yeah, but definitely, yeah.
I miss Johnny Carson. That was the good late night television. But the
I
thing is,
miss.
getting back to the
Yeah.
compliments to you and Ang, is that you simultaneously are a meeting of the minds, but then you are also on another level the dad and the daughter, and one
Mhm.
does not compete with the other. You guys make it feed each other, like both of those contextual aspects of the conversation are feeding each other rather than competing with each other. So when I hear you speaking with Ang, it warms my heart. And it reminds me of the great conversations I was lucky enough to be party to at the dinner or breakfast table between my mom and my grandfather.
Mhm.
And so it just it makes me a little sad, but it makes me more happy than sad. What they call bittersweet happiness. And I love hearing you guys talk. It's fantastic. It's
Oh, I
wonderful.
tell you, I love that. Our last walking and rambling. We have another one coming up on the 20th of the
Mm.
month. The kid flew out and blossomed, and
Oh,
especially getting on
yay!
some of that art stuff. I was like, holy crap! The blockchains and all that
Mm.
stuff. I'm sitting here like, huh, what? Like, what?
she she totally kicked ass on the comments regarding
I,
the those tokens. Oh my god, that
yeah,
token garbage. She
that's
was
been.
hilarious with
She's
that.
been on that for a long time, and I'm like, what? What tokens? It was like my mind was shot. But
It's
let's go ahead. Go ahead, Hungry. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's such a ridiculous idea. It's like the idea of she creating your avatar and then saying to 1,000 gullible people, "Oh, you can give me $10 and you can own this avatar, or you can give me $100,000 and you can own this avatar I created for my dad, which is a JPEG." And all they own is an electronic image. It's just
Mhm.
electrons divided into zeros and ones. That's
Right.
it. There's no physical property there. Versus if she actually did this wonderful hand done painting and said,
Mhm.
okay, for $1,000, you can have the only exclusive done by hand by Ang dead man walking painting, and she's doing it with acrylics, and then she puts some colored pencils over it, and she does a little bit of airbrush over it, and she makes it worth more than $1,000, and it becomes a collectible item. That is a collectible item. The non-fungible token bullpucky. I can say bullpucky without getting your stream demonetized or anything. So
you can say whatever the hell you want pretty much these days. We haven't gotten kicked off the air yet. Hey, I managed to use with Daisy that night on our college football. I used clips of football games, and so far the stream has not gotten taken down or anything.
Oh, that's fantastic.
No claims or anything.
Because we never know. I mean, YouTube, this is not a topic we want to wade into the weeds with. But the thing is, I gave up on worrying about YouTube when I realized the rules change every 48 hours and nobody notifies us. And then now that, and Elon was like, oh, that seems like a good idea. I'll change the rules for Twitter every 24 hours.
It's like crazy. It's like how it's like the Twitter DM crap, it's like, give me the rules, tell me what it is, give me a way to monitor it, I'll monitor it. And then all of a sudden, like the last week, I mean, I can DM like crazy and stuff, with no whatever. So anyway, let me just say,
you don't know what you did. You don't know what you did wrong. You don't know what you did right. It's like the relationships in the 80s and the 90s where the woman says, well, if you don't know what you did wrong, I'm not going to tell you.
Well, I do that with friends. It's like, well, what the fuck are the rules? It's like, I know I'm weird. I know I do things that are abnormal, but I'm just me, It's
right on, man.
I mean, it's just, I'm dad, man. I'm who I am. It may not make sense, but it's crazy. So, like Joseph Dredd said here, YouTube rips cocktail napkins, and we got raided by a dong. Uh-oh. Now that might get us flagged. So
yeah,
dong. Megadong was working on his diorama earlier, where he's taking the Transformers and recreating that Decepticons on Mount Rushmore scene.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I know that scene. That's cool.
I cannot wait to see that, Mega. And if you want to put your link into that picture or your tweet, feel free to do that. So let's go through the chat. Did you finish your thoughts?
Oh yeah, let's go to
chat.
Okay,
I wasn't sure I wasn't sure if we finished the compliment or we had. So it's all crazy. It's definitely a squirrel chasing adventure for probably the next 2 hours. But I know Mark has his show at 10 tonight, so
yeah.
Otherwise we go 20 hours. But hey, we got a couple hours. We'll see what the hell comes up, see what it brings. But let's start off with Joseph Dredd Hell, who will be back after dinner, and I see that he made it back too. Hey, hello Lisa, good to see you out here tonight. Happy Sunday. Castle, yeah. Oh man, I think Castle probably head out already, but hey, it's been a long week for everybody down here in the state, but hey, good to see you, Castle, tonight again. WKEG Gaming is here tonight, and he is Eric. If you're still here, I can't. South Africa or Australia? This is a gamer that's come through, got to know quite a bit on our Fortnite streams, and even came by on one of our celebration streams and played with us a little bit. But I can't remember. I think he's South Africa, but it might be South Africa or it might be Africa. Or Australia. My bad on that, Eric. Sorry. I'd say, like we said, with the Dong raid. Let's see where we go. Yeah, exactly. At least I can watch LSU Florida State, which I do have on behind me, and it looks like LSU is starting to drive, folks. By the way, a little bit of host priorities sideshow. The Oregon State Beavers started a season great today, crushing San Jose State 42-17 in a game I got to witness. So at least one of my teams does not suck bad this year. So anyway, but yes, personally in this game, I hate both teams. I despise both teams. I don't care who wins. So they could both fall into the sinkhole in Orlando, and I wouldn't lose sleep. So both rivals. So. And this is something too, is like the whole thing about Disney and Spectrum Cable, because this game is on see, this game is actually on over the air TV. Yeah, it's on the ABC networks. Whereas there's a big controversy hungry over the country where they cut off their deal with Spectrum up in a certain market like hours before they had to, and it's been a big back and forth right before football started. So hey,
which is totally unfair to the fans. I'll tell you, if that happened in Australia, that'd be the only thing that would cause a revolution and rioting in the streets.
exactly. So Stunning says, I'll post the final product later. Got a few extra details to add before throwing it on the bookshelf. All right, cool. Sounds good. And
Wonderful.
Here's Stunning's channel. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Well, we got 5 people here with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Follow us on the Twitch side. On the YouTube side, please subscribe if you haven't already. We today during our Fortnite streams, we hit a 450 mark and actually went up to 451 of subscribers.
Hooray!
Yay!
I love that.
Yay!
Oh my God! Because there's this weird thing about certain numbers with YouTube where you're hitting the ceiling, you're hitting the ceiling, and suddenly you break through for some reason, and then better things happen. I don't understand the YouTube thing at all. I don't understand the algorithms. All I know is, people say if you comment on a video after it's been published, it helps the channel owner with the algorithm. If you're live in the stream, it helps. I mean, there are these little mysterious things that are like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, but it's a 200-piece jigsaw puzzle, and we're only given 5 pieces to work with.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's crazy. So hey, well, and thanks on that.
Hey, Joe Dredd, comic book buddy. Joe Dredd is a comic book buddy.
I'd still, I think he was here the other night. I think Daisy had commented about the Judge Dredd look there too with that helmet too. That's really, really cool. So let's come back to the Judge Dredd, okay, in just a second. I want to share something special. There are a couple things that's special I want to share tonight. I'm not sure how to do one in terms of exactly. I don't quite know how I'm going to share it at this point, but hey, one thing that is really, really special is that a good friend of mine out there on Tweet Twat decided to share something before he came live, just to have some fun with everybody in the world, and just wonderful human being and pictures and stuff, and that.
That's a real huntsman from here in the Antipodes down under. And this is what made me basically say, when I first saw Temple of Doom, when it came out in 1984, I just basically said, shut up, Wilhelmina. Just shut up. Stop it. No, you have nothing to complain about. These live in my house. Shut up, woman. And I'm sorry to say that. Hey, at least Indy got squeamish about snakes, and so she could get squeamish about bugs and spiders, but this is a real spider. This is actually smaller than some of them get around where I live. Yeah, I've had slightly bigger ones, but the thing is they're really scared, but they run away from humans. What they do, because they're stupid, they got tiny little brains. They in the winter they look for heat, so they will crawl onto you in bed in winter, just to like. Oh God,
no! No, I'm cringing already.
But they're not going to bite you. They just want the heat, right? They just want the heat. And then if you snore or roll over, they will like run away. I mean, you could just look at them and go, boo. And they will sense the vibrations, because they don't really have good ears. They will sense the vibrations and they will run, and they're so fast. They can go 6 feet. They can go 6 feet in 2 seconds. That's how fast they are.
Wow. So are they considered, I guess then they wouldn't be considered venomous, would they?
They are venomous, but it's a very light venom. I mean, basically it's the equivalent to a hornet sting in terms of pain. But the thing is, I mean, I've been bitten by one accidentally when I rolled over it in bed, and it was just like, no, the giant is trying to kill me. the giant is trying to suffocate me. And so, of course, any animal, if we had something that was 80 feet tall rolling over us, we would bite or claw at it to try to survive, right? So
Right.
the poor thing bit me. I didn't even know. I was sleeping so soundly. And I woke up and I found the dead spider in bed. And then I noticed that there was this swelling on my stomach, and it had clearly bitten me. And then
Oh,
the
wow.
swelling, and then what happened was it dissolved all the skin and a little bit of the flesh for about 3/8 of an inch, going deep into the tissue, and about the size, a little bigger than the size of an American quarter. And so for about 20 years, I had this scar on my belly for where it had dissolved the flesh. And that's what their venom does. It dissolves things. So it simultaneously paralyzes and stops the breathing of the prey animal, but it also dissolves it so they can slurp it up through their fangs. Wonderfully designed animal. And I know that everyone right now is going, stop it, Henry, stop it. But I just wanted to answer your question sufficiently and proficiently.
All right.
But they will run. They
see.
will run. All you got to do is just go boo at them, and they will run. Whereas the spider the size of my thumbnail, the funnel web
Mhm.
spider, which is the most deadly spider in Australia, they will actually cross the damn floor to bite you. They are that mean and that ornery. They are horrible.
Mhm.
So never hurt a huntsman, because they're going to kill the cockroaches in your house.
Right. It's kind of like the daddy longlids in America. They're much smaller than that, but they kind of get a bad rap just because they're a spider. But yeah, they deal with bugs and things like that too.
Exactly.
So,
But if you see a funnel web, kill that bugger immediately. Kill it.
is that one with the detailed webbings and stuff?
Not
Funnel
that
web?
detailed. Not that
No.
detailed. Actually, they're a very, what I call a coarse spider. They're so efficient. They're so efficient that they actually have not changed since the time of the dinosaurs here in Australia. But
Mhm.
because their breathing system is not used to the amount of oxygen we have in the air now versus in the time of the T-Rex, it makes them really ornery, because they have to be very careful about the energy they expend. So they have to kill everything and eat everything immediately that they can, but they can't
Right.
grow bigger. They can't grow as big as they used to be. Whereas the
Mhm.
huntsman is a new world spider, a new age spider, and it's more agile. It's an
Mhm.
athlete spider. The huntsman is an
Gotcha.
athlete, whereas the funnel web is just like Louis from Taxi.
Okay. Well, of course, like I asked you beforehand, the popular question would be, is that your hand? But no, that's not your hand in this
Not
case.
mine.
Nope.
Not mine.
And Joseph Dredd said a neighbor got bit by a brown recluse spider and had to have the necrotic tissue removed. Yeah,
Yep.
some of those nasty spiders. Yeah, we've had that. We've heard about some of those. We've actually heard some with scorpions. Pygmy rattlers also are one too that some of the people that do yard work have to watch out for.
Yes. I lived in California for a long time, and there were a significant amount of rattlers around there in the undeveloped areas, Beautiful snakes, though. I mean, rattlers, I actually think, are very handsome snakes. And at least they give you a warning versus the buggers here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So I
wish
don't know.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
It's like bad science fiction and bad Star Wars. At least we want a warning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Temple of Doom, we had no warning. We had this great movie poster. We had no idea what we were in for. I imagine Lisa just wanted to slap Willie when she first saw Willie.
Well, I think we all wanted to slap Willie. We did a poll the other night on that during the stream, and Willie by far won the most annoying scream.
Yes.
So
and they doubled up on that, because they had a Wilhelm scream, which is the classic one that gets repeated in movies all the time, and then they had the Willie scream. Oh my God, oh no, I couldn't handle her.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny though? Really funny. I saw it with a family back in '84 when it came out, and to use an Australianism, my mother was spitting chips when we got out of that theater. And I said,
Mhm.
Mom, what's wrong? Mom, what's wrong? And she said, I can't bloody stand that woman.
Yeah. Oh God, I tell you what, yeah. But you know who was second? I did it between the most annoying screams between her, Han Solo. Han Solo. Harrison Ford will always be called Han Solo, whether he wants to be called that or not.
Hmm.
Sorry, I mean, because I
Yes.
still hate that he hated that role. And Short Round. There's three choices. Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Andy was the second worst screamer according to people. He actually got votes. It was hilarious.
Ugh.
So it wasn't unanimous, but Joseph Dredd says Australia freaks me out. Lots of poisonous spiders and those microscopic jellyfish.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The box jellyfish is still the worst, but those microscopic ones, nah, don't get me started. And the
You know,
spiders and snakes.
we ought to do
Yeah.
something about the venomous the venomous the venomous let's see the venomous animals of Australia.
Hmm.
If you would ever be up for that. Plus also
Okay.
yeah, plus also if you can help me with something with those islands down in the Pacific. Especially my favorite celeb or celebes. I always called it celebes, but I've heard it pronounced by the British celeb, you know, because it looks like an angelfish.
Yeah.
I'd love to know more about those islands down there, but you know, that's another time where we had to research for something with that because
Hmm.
those islands have always fascinated me because my interest in World War II and stuff like that. You hear about the jungle surviving, especially in Papua New Guinea. There were a lot
Yeah.
of Australians, Americans, you know, fighting with the Japanese, and that, I mean, the terrain and just the jungles and just
Well, that's
I'd
what
like to
that's where
know
my
more about that.
that's where my grandfather and two of his brothers and three of my nana's brothers served. They all served in Papua New Guinea,
Hmm.
and they met with the natives who were then we're not allowed to say this now, but the name that they did not mind that were given to them by the troops were the Fuzzy Wuzzies
Hmm.
because of how huge their hair was. I mean,
Hmm.
they were doing afros before anyone else was doing afros, right?
Hmm.
And so they were called, but the thing is, it is more respectful than that because they were actually called the Fuzzy Wuzzy Angels because they understood fighting and offense, defense in the jungle. And they actually advised, and this is not brought up in a lot of documentaries and a lot of books, they actually advised the Australian troops, I don't know about the other troops, about how to fight in the jungle. And
Hmm.
they saved a lot of lives and they fought alongside a lot of the troops. And my grandfather fought alongside a couple of the Fuzzy Wuzzy Angels. And he would never hear a single bad word about anyone from anyone who was born in New Guinea. I mean, if you said that in my grandfather's house, you were out. You were out.
Hmm.
Done. And he was the same way. That was the first time he met Americans and he served with Americans. And that was back when the term Yank was respectful.
Right.
You know, it became disrespectful later on around the 60s. But I
Well,
mean,
down south of the Mason Dixon line, it can be kind of an insult still, always.
yes, and I
Thank you for
understand that.
laughing. I knew you'd laugh at that one.
I respect that though. I mean, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah. But you know
there's
what?
almost
What you
yeah,
said
go ahead.
towards with history, we're learning a lot about history from historians that are going back into the old documentation at the time. There was a book that I read, "Shattered Sword" by Jonathan Parshaw, and
Yeah.
he's famous on YouTube and a lot of other things. And just brilliant seeing him talk and all. And they used a lot. It's like I don't read. I've always said that reading is hard for me, but it's over like a 500-page book. The text
Mm,
is like 300 pages. The reference material is like over 200 pages. I mean, and
mm,
they went to like the flight records of some of the carriers and found things, you know, like the Midway 76 movie is based on something that was alive from before. And like a lot of the things that the history that started them was just kind of carried forward lazily. I mean, not just to that, and a lot of the stuff we're seeing, and like hearing that, you know, not always that personal experiences are accurate either, but it just,
mm,
there's so much with the history that we've not heard about over the years and that we're finding new evidence for
mm.
that challenge what
Yes.
we think and what we know. And that's interesting hearing your firsthand account from your granddad and things like that, because you know what, they did that. You know, there was a lot, and who better know the terrain of the land and how to deal with it than the people that were there. But
And
you
it's
know,
very difficult terrain.
yes,
Very difficult
the
terrain.
Owen Stanley Mountains, they found
Oh.
Try to get an offensive on there, trying to go over them. If the ships won't go, it just that's another talk for another day for a big history lesson. Geography
Yeah.
is huge, but personally, I love just we don't know enough about those islands, and it's actually cool.
Hmm.
That's what's so good with this whole YouTube thing and StreamYards is getting to talk to people like you that are on another part of the world. David KG Gaming, where he is, people in different parts of the world that know they've been there. I'm just an American that's stuck in the South. I finally went to Colorado, Wyoming. I loved it, but it just seeing other parts of the world and actually hearing about from the people that know that are closer. So, but I digress. My fault. Sorry, but it's a great topic. We love it. We chased a squirrel with that one, but hey, I love
Chase
it.
a squirrel.
All right. Well,
I like that phrase.
today, remember I hit 451 subs, which was really interesting. But tonight, listen, I don't know. How do I say this? Every time I get frustrated, every time that I think whatever, there's people to pick me up. I know I drive my friends crazy sometimes, but you know what? Without you guys, I can't do this crap. Well, I call it crap. I'm sorry. The unfiltered dad man crap. But you do it. You like it. Yeah, it's crap. Still, I like crap.
I don't consider it crap, but I like it when you say crap in that way. That's funny. So let's go with that.
The grumpy old man to do it. So like Lisa said, new title, Squirrel Stream.
I like that.
And then
Squirrel Stream. I like that.
No,
Lisa.
I don't. Yes, I do. Well, I do get angry. It's like everything. You get frustrated. Life gets in the way sometimes, and you just don't. You hit moments and stuff like that, and just out of nowhere, you got the people that you rely on that keep you going. That they truly mean a lot to you, and then all of a sudden you get the surprises that come out of nowhere that are unexpected. I don't know if you've heard of the master of the TDS over on Twitter, and he and his wife. I'm chillaxed. You need to quit saying that to me. I mean, when I say crap, then I'm calmed. So just
Lisa, if you could magically send him some of that wonderful food that you prepare and you show us on Twitter, the Lisa Kryptonian Cafe food, he would be chillaxing a lot more. He'd probably be falling asleep, after eating.
No, I'd be probably streaming 24 hours a day. So
take that energy and just run with it.
Yeah, run with it. So well,
we need that Lisa Kryptonian Cafe. I want some of that.
Oh, I know. It looks good. That's for sure. Homegrown too. So it's really, really awesome to see. But it's the surprise announcements that come out of nowhere. The surprise, shout outs and things that come out back. So yeah, I saw that. All right. Well, let me get to the announcement. Okay. I can't focus.
A chance.
I know. It's like, damn, because I really want to give a great shout out to these people. Master of the TDS and his wife, Writing Raven. They have their own YouTube channel, but they do something called Psycho Synopsis. Is a show that they have, and they have something they call the Remedy of the Week, where they shout it out somebody. And please go check out their channel sometime. I've gotten to know them a little bit and been at some of their streams and through Discord. Of course, this is the one thing that our StreamYard still is screwing up here. At least we don't have echoes tonight. But dude. Oh wait, that's copyright music. Bum 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 bum. I sound like Homer Simpson. God, come on.
It was actually pretty funny. That was pretty good. I like that.
Hey, how do you like the little Indiana Jones that Mrs. made the other night? We used.
I was waiting for you to ask. I love it. I mean, the hat really works. And I mean, oh boy. What are you holding in your hand there? That looks yummy.
One
that
of the
looks
stones.
like something.
No, it's one of the stones from the movie.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you squint at it a certain way, it looks like something very yummy from a good bakery.
Exactly. It does. But hey, it looks like that beaver tail that I had from Buc-ee's. But,
yeah.
That
was
was
great.
good. That was a very good dessert. But hey, let me finish with this with the psychodynamics. Look at Master TDS. They have a Gothic therapy, which they have a YouTube channel out there, and they included us on their shout out of Remedy of the Week this week.
Yay! And that's a good
And
thumbnail. That's
I
very
just
clever.
wanted to say, I they did this. They do good stuff, and they're great people. And if you get a chance to go follow them on Twitter, uh, Master TDS, and their YouTube channels out there. So they give us a shout out this week. So just wanted to say publicly thank you to them for that. And Hungry. This it's things like this that really kind of keep me going too. It's like you just out of nowhere, just somebody recognizes you like that. It's it's appreciated. So
Lisa agree with me. Lisa thought it was food too.
Man,
chocolate bread.
And
Oh, what do they call that?
Bread.
La pain de chocolat. Isn't that, or what's the French pain de chocolat? What is the French one? Lisa, you can help me out with that. But chocolate bread basically. And the fact is that it looks edible, but it's also from the film plus the hat, and the missus did it so well. Fantastic.
Yep,
Fantastic.
exactly. And listen, look here at let me do this because I will switch let me switch back. Let me switch our background. She left it in here the other night. There you go. You might have. Let's see. What do you think of that?
Oh yeah, I mean when I was looking at the stream, I loved that. That was fantastic. That says it all. I mean, that's what is called in screenwriting, which people writing Star Wars these days don't know, is subtext. Subtext. So the hat and the whip, and lying on what appears to be a basic wooden table that might be from South America, that basically is subtext. It's telling you what you need without somebody saying, hello, this is about such and such. The reason we're talking about such and such is so and so, which is anti-subtext, which is everything we're getting in pop culture and genre culture right now. So the missus, is always 4 out of 4 stars with me.
Yes, exactly. I love the way it's simplicity, that's
thank you,
what
Lisa. Yes. Pain au chocolat. Thank you. Pain au chocolat. Thank you very much. And it's very
Please don't use that language on my channel.
What, French food? French food? I mean, you're next.
No, I do not take profanity on my channel. I'm just kidding. We get to make fun of the French, but hey, if you're French, we love you personally. It's just got to be a gaudy American. So
I know, but you know your history, and the thing is, and this will be another talk for another day, like you said about 10 minutes ago. But without the French, would the Revolutionary War of the Americas have gone so well without their help?
No, exactly. Yeah, they were key. See, I don't understand that. See, this is why I don't like it. Pain. What does pain have to do with soup or anything else?
It's not pain. It's pong. Pong.
Pain. I look at pain. I'm from the South, remember?
Exactly.
This one school had this like fancy soups that they had in their little snack bar, and I'm like, Audubon pain. I'm like, what do I want? Pain. I want food. So anyway.
Oh my God. Well, the other funny thing about the French language is poisson.
How do we get on French language now? We are really on the squirrel stream tonight.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that anymore.
No. You go ahead. I just was remarking. It's like we got the squirrel stream, and it's like, oh, look, how did we get on the language? But go ahead. You're right, because they have major contributions, especially with the contribution towards the Revolutionary War and things like that. So, but but finish your thought.
Oh, well, the other thing too is just a really quick thought is that when you're starting to learn French, and I tried to do it when I was 16 years old, and then I failed miserably. Although the teacher said, your accent is very good. I can't do even a French accent. I used to
Mhm.
be able to do a French accent. I can't do it anymore. But the thing is that the word for fish and the word for poison is almost exactly the same. And there
Mm.
is like a 5% difference in the pronunciation, which separates the word. Now, when you see it written, it is very clearly different. But when you speak it, if you don't have the accent right, if you're on an airplane going to France and you say, I would like the fish, if you pronounce it wrong, you're saying, I would like the poison.
Wow. Wow.
And then the stewardess will laugh at you. And yes, I'm still going to say stewardess. I am that
Yes.
politically incorrect because I remember the stewardesses being very kind to me when I was a little kid, having to be on planes, bouncing back and forth between continents. And they were very kind and very generous. And they liked being called stewardesses. So if
Mhm.
those people who were kind to me prefer being called stewardesses, I'm going to call them a stewardess. I'm not
Yeah.
going to call them a flight attendant. If they said that they were proud to be called a stewardess in the 1960s and 1970s, then that is what is respectful to them. Just like one of my best art teachers, in fact, my absolute best art teacher, who I consider the best art teacher I ever met, he said, do not call me a man of color. I grew up in the 50s, I grew up in the 60s, and I am a proud black man. So you want to respect me, you call me Black
Mhm.
because Black is beautiful, and he was a part of the Black is Beautiful movement in the 70s. And
Mm.
you're
Okay.
you're old enough to remember that. You remember the bumper stickers? There were bumper stickers on cars in America. Black is beautiful. There were posters.
I think I
Um,
vaguely.
mm,
Mm, I'm. I was 10 and younger then. So
yeah, I mean, and I mean, I was paying attention. I was paying
yeah. I
attention because of
yeah.
what was going on in Australia and also in America. But however, you gotta look at people person to person, one on
Mhm.
one, and how they want to be defined
Mhm.
is what matters. Like for me, I don't ever want you to call me semi-disabled. Okay. I am a
Mhm.
half crip. And that is what people in my community sometimes refer to ourselves out. I do not need a wheelchair at this moment in life. That may come later. I don't need a walker. I am half crippled, not full crippled. So, you can say to me, "Oh, you fat ass half crip bugger," and I will
Mhm.
I will hug you for that because that's the way I self-identify. And
Mhm.
you have other people in Australia. We got people who prefer to be called Aboriginal. We have people who prefer to be called Indigenous, and we have people who prefer to be called First Australians. All right. So you don't call one person by a different person's name. You don't do that. You go to
No.
their house, you eat their food, they serve you tea, you've brought over a nice cake that you made for them. If they say, I want to be called Aboriginal, that's what you do because otherwise you are insulting them and their personal history, you know?
Yeah. Lisa, can I share the picture? I've clipped it out. It's just a picture. It's only if I have your permission, I'll show Hungry real
Mm.
quick. But I've got it where it's no markings of Twitter or
Ooh,
anything
ooh.
else like that. So, and
Do I
just
need to
address
check?
said the
Do I need to
yeah
check Twitter,
yeah.
or are
But
you
I'm
going to
about to
show
show
it?
the picture. She'll say I can show it because I have it where there's no. It's
Okay.
just the picture itself. So, but
Joe Dredd.
yeah. So
We'll get to that in a moment, Joe. But that's pretty
yeah
funny.
yeah. Oh man, I'm not sure what the word is, but obviously you do. So it's pretty cool. All right. Well, what we'll do, we can talk a little bit about Temple of Doom. Without
Oh.
redoing the full review that Daisy and I did the other night, but I mean, it's one that you have opinions on, and I know you love
Oh.
certain parts of it. So,
Yeah,
would you
but
like to
just
say
give me a
something?
moment. Oh, I'm just looking at that Lisa page. Oh, gimme, gimme, gimme,
I
gimme,
know, I
gimme.
know. I was just going to show the
Oh,
picture, but I'll hold on. I won't do it. You saw it then, so okay.
oh my. No, you can show it for everybody else, but I'm just looking at that
Okay.
and I'm
Well,
thinking, oh my
I just
God.
wanted permission though. I don't like showing it necessarily
Mm,
without some permission, and
mm,
you know, because I mean,
I
this did
need
look.
that.
Well, you're gonna have to wait.
Oh.
uh, let's see. Let's go here. All right. So let's do it here.
Oh, that's such a good background, Mrs. That's such a good background. Oh,
Mhm.
love that. Look at that.
And she just took it. It's general. It's not anything copy specific. It's just very, but it says Indiana Jones. The fedora and the
Says
whip.
everything. And the old table, the old wood, because he goes to places where, people are just struggling for subsistence. And that's where you find a lot of the ancient artifacts. And it's just such a smart background. I love it. Thank you, Mrs. Thank you.
I will have to tell her that. So,
Mm.
but come on. This is a no. I You see the missus brings the pictures up. It comes up immediately. Mine,
Mm.
it decides to do this, or it might be immediately. We didn't do not know.
Mm.
Come on, dude. Now there we go.
So yummy.
Try to make it bigger. This is shrimp scampi, so
Mm. That's about the
really,
only way I'm going to eat shrimp if if it is prepared like that.
yeah.
I'm not going to eat the sea bugs, just like in the skillet.
And
That's a
I think
classic.
that's what a garlic cheese bread probably in the back too. So
Mm. Oh man.
Shujin. Okay. So all right, there you go. That's some of our food tonight. All right, time. All right. So where
Which
do you want to start with this movie? What do you think?
there are so many places to go here. I don't want to go over the things. I don't want to just repeat in different words what
Right.
you and Daisy said,
No,
but
exactly.
there are certain things with my background and artistic background and my family's background that one part of me really loved the film and then despised the film when I saw it as a teenager in 84. And then I see it again when I'm in my 40s, right? And
Hmm.
I see it completely differently. I look at it completely differently, but there are still going to be things that annoy the living bleep out of me. And
Hmm.
I'm a guy who, and this goes back to something that I think you and Daisy agreed upon. Whereas I love my genre movies, okay, and I am a big fan of 1930s films. I even like 1930s musicals. I'm a big fan of those, but I'm also a big fan of 1930s horror films. But there are certain genres that do not mix well.
Right.
And when it goes back to something you said, where it was something to the effect of you had loved Raiders and you had great expectations going in to see this film, and it was not what you expected, especially in
Mhm.
the opening scene.
Right.
With the dance number and Kate Capshaw, otherwise known as Willie, and
Mrs.
for
Steven
me,
Spielberg.
um, yeah, and so for me, and I'm just going to refer to my notes here. Um, like I said, I'm of two minds of this, but after 2 years of waiting for a sequel, which is like when we were kids and we saw Star Wars and we were waiting for Empire Strikes Back, you have expectations set up in your head.
Hmm.
And the design of it I love, but when you take something like the Mr. Moto films starring Peter Lorre and the Charlie Chan films featuring another actor, um, you don't mix those in with the Indiana Jones Raiders experience. Because I love, and Lisa will understand this. I love horseradish mustard. I love hot English mustard,
I'm sorry,
and
hungry. I'm sorry, hungry. I just George Lucas has made an appearance. Hi,
perfect
George Lucas.
timing.
Glad to see you tonight. Oh,
Perfect
sorry.
timing. I love horseradish based mustard, which is incredibly hot and you can only scrape it over the bread. And I love deep dark chocolate ice cream, but you don't put the horseradish in the damn ice cream. It's not like Reese's peanut butter cups. These two things do not go together, you know.
Mhm.
And the thing about Indy was, even at the beginning in the opening scenes, the first Raiders film, you have moments of levity, you have moments of humor, but it's a serious film that touches upon the jokes. Whereas immediately in the second film, in Temple, you can tell we are focusing on the jokes as much as the action, as the items of concern. The items of concern. And in Raiders, the item of concern is very, very serious. Very, very serious. Whereas in Temple, I have to say it's rather localized. It doesn't matter how the Indian characters explain it later in terms of like destroying Western theology and thus destroying the culture. It doesn't feel like that when we're watching the movie. It didn't feel like that to me when I was a teenager, and it didn't feel like that to me when I was in my late 30s and 40s and 50s. And that's a failure of the script, not the characters, not anything else. And you find out later, I mean, as a teenager, I was sitting there going, I don't think they knew where they were going with this, because I'd read a lot of stuff about genre films up to that point, back when we were reliant upon magazines and we didn't have the internet. You would read articles where they would say the producers and the writers were struggling to come together to form a cohesive script. And so then, decades later, you find out Lucas and Spielberg didn't know where the hell they were going with this film in terms of what is written about it and what they've admitted about it later. So the design I love, but I was not really comfortable with the film. Even I was loving the dance musical, but I thought it belonged in a different film, not an indie film. And the whole thing with the poison, the whole thing with the antidote, it really belonged in something separate, not this film. And I was only comfortable once they got on the damn plane. And that's when I started feeling comfortable. But then, like you and Daisy talked about, we get to the gall darn raft, the raft. Oh, no. I mean, I'm gonna let you talk for a moment. Just give him a moment. I have to grab a mineral water that's in the fridge.
Because I do want to go back a little bit before we hit the raft, okay?
Oh, okay.
I want to hit an area probably you and me are going to probably have to tumble on a little bit, okay?
I'm comfortable with that.
And we're going to rumble, you, man. We're going to rumble and we're going to tumble.
It's gonna be a bit the wide world of wrestling, huh? It's gonna be a bit
that
like that.
Damn friggin' ass, stupid ass opening dance number. Please. I go to Indiana Jones to see him in death situations, not some musical Busby Berkeley production. One thing I remember about the old MGM ride at Hollywood Studios was the great movie ride had Busby Berkeley, and they were like going in circles and all that. And it's like, this is Indiana Jones, not Kate Capshaw promotion singing tour. It's just, like Daisy and I kind of talked about with maybe if they'd have brought it and had her in the background, worked her in a little bit, that type of stuff, it could have been different, but it was just like, you came up for Indiana Jones and you're left like, where's Indy?
Well, yes, and also it was a very long scene, and a lot of it was focused on Kate, and that's not what happened in the first movie.
And I will tell you, though, it was a nice scene. If you like scenes like that, it was done very well. But to me, it really kind of put some water on the high hopes. You spending that much time on something that was not Indiana Jones focused.
Well, it was done very well, as you said, for a separate movie with different characters, like Romancing the Stone. They could have actually created a new movie and created a vehicle for Kate Capshaw if Mr. Spielberg was so infatuated with her. But this is for notes later. It felt like he was trying to create a buzz in Hollywood for her being a comedic actress. And I'll go into that later on. But the thing is, in order to be a comedic actress, like any actress on Cheers or any actress on MASH or any actress in any sitcoms, you have to have real comedy writers making it funny. And Mr. Spielberg is not a comedy writer. And Mr. Lucas is not a comedy writer.
Well, that's not their he might not even write at all, but that's a different issue, sir.
And so the scene also went on too long. It went on way too long. And it started something else I had a problem with. I'm not going to bash on Temple too much because it's still way better than a lot of the stuff we've been suffering for the past 5 years, and that changes your perspective when you look at some of the garbage that's coming out, and then you look back at Temple and going, it's not so bad. The thing is that a lot of the physical props looked cheap. So you remember when there's the giant, there's the prop in the opening scene, which represents a giant Chinese coin. And that's rolling across the floor, and it's being used as cover from the enemies by Indy and other people. The thing is, if that was done the way it was done in Raiders, it would have looked a lot better. But we have all these things that come out in Temple that just look cheap and done very fast. And struggling to hit a deadline, struggling to hit a production mark. And the other, if you have someone like Ted Danson, is not funny on his own, right? He's not funny on his own. He's admitted that.
Is he funny at all?
He was funny when he had good directors and good.
Okay, that was more of a joke, Hungry. That was more of a joke.
Okay, so I was being literal, but I felt.
And Mrs. is here. Hey, let's say hey to the missus and Buddy Hepburn here too.
Oh, Buddy.
Good to see you, Buddy.
Shall we talk to the chat for a bit? I just want to send something out to Tweety.
Well, yeah, go ahead. And the missus here, Mrs. Hungry Boy loved all of the designs with the hat, the fedora, the whip, the table, and of course the upper right logo that you made the other night. So definitely thank you for that, Mrs. Buddy, good to see you as always. Multiple times a day, sometimes. Thank you. And by the way, Buddy, go Beavers! Woohoo! At least I got one team that's actually decent. Joseph Dredd said, I like some musicals, like Sound of Music, but the long musical number did not belong in an action movie.
Yeah, right on.
Exactly. So, but yeah,
I just need 1 second. Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. And then Mrs. said she made the upper logo, the background I found online. So, all right.
There we go. Oh. I just tweeted something out.
Oh gosh. Oh man, what did you do now? I have to go over there and look at that. So
check it out, Mrs. You're famous.
Oh my gosh. Here's something else.
If only the main character was probably as interesting and fascinating as the missus, but I doubt it. Oh, and thank you for this background again, Mrs. I really appreciate it because it's got the lighting, the composition. Like I said, you're a painter. I've said this many times. You're a painter at heart. You're a painter at heart, my dear, and it really shows. It's just a wonderful background to see on any stream. But I love the fact that the Dad Man showed me it without our avatars here. Can we show that again just by itself so people can appreciate the good work? Because I really like that.
And B from O's here tonight. Hey, B from O.
Hello, B from O.
Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. All right, let me move us. I'll take us both off. There we go. You like? All right. Yes. Well, I was in the process of tagging her on what you just sent to make sure she got it. So.
Oh, that's funny, Joe Dredd. He said he didn't like Ted Danson in Becker, even though it had Jadzia Dax. That's pretty. Terry Farrell, yeah, she's actually a great actress in many things. I really like her, but I have to admit, I did like Ted Danson in Becker. But again, he had writers who were working with him and understood comedy. It's like people need to stay in their lane. It's like you've said about certain Star Wars things. Okay, if you want to do the Gilmore Girls, do the Gilmore Girls. Don't like encroach into Star Wars and say we need Gilmore Girls in space and use your cred to make it happen.
Yep. I know. I just never found him personally humorous to me. Just a style thing. I don't know. Maybe it's personality. Maybe because I was so old when I was young that his politics like turned me off so much, and I just
Yeah,
shut
fair
out.
enough.
And
Fair enough.
but even then, it's like I don't know, I just didn't like him. I mean, it took a while for Woody Harrelson to grow on me too.
Oh yeah.
It just, yeah. So
Well, I mean,
okay,
that
so
goes
she
back to
saw
what
it.
we're talking. That goes back to what we're talking about now with this film. I mean, this film
Mhm,
grew on me because when I came out of the theater in 1984, I was not happy. I was not a happy camper.
mhm,
I mean, that it just it felt like we were promised an indie film and we got something else that happened to have indie in it. And you know, I know the vicissitudes
mhm,
and the trials and tribulations of casting in
mhm.
Hollywood. But the fact that we didn't have Marion in the second film pissed me off. Oh, I
Yeah,
love Marion. Oh, and that's why this film led me to like Crystal Skulls better because we actually finally got Marion back and we got to have a happy ending with the wedding. I want that happy ending. I like that happy ending, you
mhm,
know? And a lot of
right,
people will make fun of the film, but Marion was a fantastic, fantastic heroine, female
exactly.
protagonist. Oh, the way, I mean, the first film, the way she's holding her own in a bar in one of the toughest places on earth, and she's out drinking this ogre, this beast, and then
Hmm.
she's had enough booze to kill three normal men, and then the guy who screwed her over in many ways, sometimes literally speaking, he
Hello.
walks into her life again,
Yeah,
and
out of nowhere,
this
in the middle of nowhere, middle of nowhere, Asia. Yeah, it was.
oh, and you know, this is the kind of person we're looking forward to in the second indie film. And we get Little Miss, I got to show off my butt. Well, I can't actually sit on an elephant properly.
Uh huh.
I've been I've been on an elephant when I was 7. Okay? When I was 7, that's a lot harder than it is for an adult. All right? A lot
Yeah.
harder. And guess what? It's not as hard as she was making it look.
Yep. No, exactly. But I think with maybe it was they overdid the effect. They tried so hard to make her look
Mm.
out of place that they maybe jumped the shark with it a little bit.
Yeah, good phrase, good phrase. And
Yeah,
also I
because
think they were really trying to set her up to be a big thing that we would all want to see on either television or in movies. And
yeah,
that didn't really
yes,
happen. You
no,
know,
because it was Mrs. Steven Spielberg, and it was like, here I slept with the director, and here now she's going to be kind of like the world's hottest thing now for everybody. So I didn't say
well,
that, did I? But I guess I
yes
did.
you did. I'll
It's okay. I'll own it. But yeah,
but to be
it's,
she became Mrs. Spielberg, which was probably a better gig in terms of dollars and cents than continuing to be an actress. I shouldn't have
yes.
said that, but I did.
All right. I tell you what, man. I tell you, you could see it just felt so forced. It was out of the place for the series. But I will tell you though, you know, since we're jumping all around, I'll jump to the end. Is that I'm watching it again. I think
Mm,
being older gave me a different set of eyes to look at it, a different way
I
to
agree.
appreciate it, and it was not. It really was not a bad movie per se,
Right.
but it was so un-indie like because this is the movie that I think maybe it was Buddy that said in our chat the other night that
Mm,
it was this that, and I know the missus had said this movie is why we got PG-13, and I think Buddy also said
mm.
Gremlins also. But I mean,
Yes.
this movie was so unexpected. Now we had gore in the Indiana Jones, but you didn't have heart ripping out and stuff like that. This was on another level. Plus, also the scenes of the abuse in the mines and things was
You
so
read my
much for
mind.
a movie at the time.
I actually have handwritten before we got on the show. The phrase was problems with abuse. I have that. So we not only have what was happening to the children, okay, But we have Indy being tied up and flogged in what is, basically a de facto sadomasochistic scene.
Hmm.
And we do not need that in the second Indy film. That is again different genre. So you see this in horror films. Okay, you see this in 1950s and 1960s horror films, particularly in Hammer horror. And Spielberg had said in previous interviews that have been scrubbed on the internet, he liked Hammer horror films. He just didn't want to go there. Well, he kind of went there in this film. He kind of went there in
Hmm.
this film. And to that, I say, when you're mixing genres, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Don't work the other side of the street, because I thought there was too much horror and too much abuse in this film. But there were other
Right.
things I did like, just like you're saying, just to agree with you and to agree with Daisy. There are certain things I really did like about this film.
Mhm.
I liked how they kind of they touched on it and then moved away from it. They touched on international politics in the film, which was
Right.
very very much an aspect of the 1930s leading up to World War
Oh
II.
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
part, sorry, damn my earphones. Okay, that part was fine.
Hmm.
That part was fine, and I like that, and I like having politicos who are part of the Indian system being part of the cult. And I think that is clever. But then you leave it there. We don't have to see this horrible stuff happening to people under the 18 in the mines.
Right. Yeah.
I did not need that.
Nope. No, I tell you, the missus and I will watch some stuff, and we have different sensibilities. See, I'll deal with a lot of the gruesome stuff and all that, but she can't. Like in
Yeah.
terms of like the actual like uh the whipping,
Ugh.
the actual footage of it.
Yeah.
I can deal with that, but there are things that she deals better with thematically. Like I cannot stand uh women abuse,
Mm.
kid the things where certain types of vulnerable groups get
Yes.
victimized. I cannot watch. I just I refuse to watch it. I cannot put that in my brain. And
Yes.
it just this one really was like, what the hell are we watching now? And it's just because it was so out of character with with what we expect it to be, and which is an escape fantasy. But it made it well. In some ways, it's a credit to them that they made it so realistic,
Yeah.
but it
I
just
agree.
did not fit with what you expected, And there, help me with this question because I have no clue what this one means, Hungry Boy.
Mm.
And Joseph Joe's asking, so do I give Seven of Nine the same treatment she was Brandon Braga's playmate? Huh? I have no idea.
That's a Star Trek thing. That's a
Oh, it's
Star
a
Trek
Star
thing.
Trek. I have okay.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
I
So
have no clue.
Brandon Braga. I mean, okay. Joe will laugh at my response and he'll understand it. I will explain my response to you as I give it. Brandon Braga would like to think he is the Spielberg of post 1960s Star Trek. He is not. My nickname for him is Brandon Braggart,
Ah,
as in
okay.
braggadocio. And yeah, he had his favorite female stars as well that he wanted to focus on. And he would also, as a credit to Joe Dredd, he would mix genres that did not belong in Star Trek. Like he would be he liked to go into body horror. He liked to go into people being transformed into monsters and a whole bunch of gross stuff going on. And just because somebody wants to do something, that doesn't mean they're very good at it. Okay. So like I know I'm very bad at drawing dogs and horses. This is why when I worked in comic books, I said you cannot hire me for a Western comic. You are hiring the wrong person. All right. So you don't hire a vegan to make cheeseburgers. You don't hire me to draw horses and
Well,
dogs.
you do when
And
your cheeseburger's made of cheese, like cow free cheese.
But I understand exactly what Joe Dredd is talking about here. And yeah, so when you look at the woman who played Seven of Nine, she had certain attributes that made her very attractive to certain people. So maybe they were going to push her in certain ways. When I say push her, I don't mean push her as an actress. I mean push her towards the audience the way Kate Capshaw was being pushed by Steven Spielberg in this film, in Indy, in Temple. And I get him. But, to be fair to Kate Capshaw, I mean, her career wasn't really anywhere when she was given this role. So there are sometimes you just got to say yes, no matter what the script is, no matter how things are proceeding during the production, and you got to roll with it and do your best. And I honestly think, to be fair, because I have to do that like we were with The Village, I got to do that. I think she was putting in her best performance. I think she was working with the material she was given, the script she was given, and then according to reports, things were being changed on the fly from the original script. And I think she was doing her best regardless of how much Mr. Spielberg was hungry for her bread loaf. And I got to give credit to the actress for trying her best. I don't think it was her fault. Just like we can't blame Bryce Dallas Howard for anything that happened in The Village. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But we can blame everybody else for everything else that happened in The Village, and we can blame a lot of other people for what happened in Temple. But oh boy, there were good moments. Even if they were cheesy, and if you and Daisy disagree with me on this one, I will weather the storm. But I like the fact that they used miniatures for the chase in the mine when they were in the carts, and it looked very 1930s, and the film is set in the 1930s, and you could tell, even when you saw it in the theater in 1984, you could tell they were miniatures. But I like miniatures work. I really love that.
Let me go back to our friend Masters is here. Sorry, I didn't want to stop the Hungry Boy there for a bit.
Done. That's fine.
Yeah, Masters is here. Masters Maniac Mexico. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, M&M.
Exactly.
Hello.
So, all right. So, of course, as Judd said, soy cheese. There you go. Masters. All right. But yeah, it just what other things stepped out to you? Because see, I the biggest thing I think in the end where I was just my passionate despising of that opening scene not fitting in. It just why, but I will say it was done well. But I mean, I know you liked it now looking back at it, but overall, it was not as bad of a movie as I thought it was.
No, I still don't like it. I like that scene separately. I like that scene as a short film, and I separate that in my head from the rest of the film. I edit that out. I do a hard edit cut, and then for me, the film is starting off with the running from the gangsters to get to the plane, right? And the whole car chase scene. That's fine, but I mean, there are certain things like, oh my God, the raft falling from the airplane from such a height and landing on snow, and they survive. Because you've been in some snow, all right? I've got
hit by a snow that was like ice by the missus. She admitted the other night she enjoyed it a little too much.
Well, I mean, that's what's referred to, because I used to do a bit of skiing. That's called corn snow, which is very coarse. And then you have powder snow, which is very light and fluffy. But the thing is, even if you hit light and fluffy snow from 60 feet, it's still water, and it's crystallized water, and you're still going to break a bone. All right. Because what people forget is underneath, about 2 feet underneath that fluffy snow, is the snow that has been compacted. It's been compacted, and some of the snow has had the sun, warm sun, even on a winter's day, hitting it, and that forms an ice sheet over that snow. So you get compacted snow, ice sheet, and then powder snow. And if you are falling from the height, and Snortopoopas referenced this a little bit during your stream with Daisy, if you fall from that height and you hit any form of snow, you may as well be hitting concrete. I mean, you've been around rivers, you've been around high bridges. If somebody jumps from 200 feet up and they hit water.
Yeah, we are a city of bridges, especially tall bridges, and it's pretty much, they know, even if they even if they survive it, usually they're knocked out, and then the currents and all take care of everything.
It's bones are broken. Bones are broken. You go above 200 feet, it doesn't matter what water you hit. It comes down to the physics of water. You may as well be hitting concrete, just like
Yep.
Masters Maniac Mexico was saying. And
Wow.
people here, this is, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. So, I mean, but snow is harder than water. So that distance, I mean,
Hey,
no, they would be they would be, I'm going to use code language here. They
okay.
would be very fluid jam and jelly if they hit snow from that height.
Yeah. No,
It,
I agree. I understand what you're talking about. You definitely would. It's really a, you know,
oh, oh, and
it's really a thing.
and the food situation that you and Daisy talked about, especially the eyeball soup. The thing is that really felt like, because we know on record that Lucas and Spielberg were having massive problems with the script, and there was a lot of stuff being written while it was actually being filmed. This happened a lot in Hollywood in the mid 80s because of what I refer to as the devil's talcum powder from Peru, and you know what I mean. I'm speaking in code. Um,
Mhm.
so it felt like they had hit a moment in making the film happen where they didn't know what to do, and they thought, well, we had some gross scenes in the first Raiders film, and also remember that in 1982 Spielberg was the guiding force in an extraordinarily scary film called Poltergeist,
Mhm.
and they had the incredibly scary moment with the food. They had like 3 food scenes in the middle of the movie that were incredibly scary, and they were incredibly popular, and people were always writing about them. And it just felt like Spielberg said, okay, let's have an awful, gross food scene because it worked beforehand. Let's just do it again. And
Mhm.
you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. It's just cheap.
Mhm.
It's
No, I know. It just I, it was funny for a movie, but then again, I will say here's my thing with when it comes to a movie like this. I'm okay with that, and I'll tell you why.
okay.
Because it's a movie. It's an escapism. There's some semblance of fantasy. There's some semblance of the just you know if we're not careful, we could actually take if we're not careful, we could actually make things where there's no fun, no joy in things. And
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
that silliness is kind of cool. Um, um,
I like silliness.
but,
I'm
but
agreeing
there
with you,
was there,
but
but see, but sometimes that if we're not careful, we go over analyze every single scene to the point we won't enjoy anything or enjoy a movie.
I agree with you.
And that's where I think we be careful. That was a scene. Yeah, I could take it and look at it and laugh about how stupid it was, but in the end, it's not going to be the killer for me. Not like that dance number. Um,
okay, we are going to disagree here.
but
Okay,
but yeah, but it's just to me, it was just like you at some point, I'm willing to suspend disbelief and just say, okay, that's fine. Okay, cool,
but see, the thing
and
is, for me, I don't like slapstick humor. I don't like
mhm,
and that was, I think Lisa will understand what I mean here when I say that was slapstick humor using food instead of Abbott and Costello using their bodies, or the Three Stooges using their bodies. They were using food for slapstick humor. And I don't do slapstick. I can't do slapstick.
the food.
Um,
Again, back to the scene in the palace.
yes,
Okay, all
yes.
right. I was still back on the floating life preserver, the floating
Oh,
raft.
okay. No, with that one, I agree with you completely. So with that one, like when I
Yeah.
saw, to agree with you 100%. When I see it again, in my 40s or 50s, I completely accept that. Like you were saying, sometimes we have to have an allowance. But when I was a teenager and I was focused on physics and how movies worked, etc., I was much more judgmental. And this goes back to what you and Daisy both said.
Hmm.
Whereas you see a film when you first see it, and then decades later you see it very differently,
Hmm.
very differently.
Yeah.
But I
Yep.
agree with
I
you
got
on
you.
the. I agree with you. I was just saying, like when I was a teen and I saw the raft hitting the snow. since I've nearly died in a blizzard myself. I would, but then, when I'm 40 and my muscles are aching and my arthritis is acting up and I just want to be entertained, I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's fine. I don't know what I was complaining about as a young man. Oh, well, somebody just
Mhm.
make me a cup of tea and give me some soup.
Oh, oh my gosh. Oh, we're having too much fun with this stupid movie. Well, how are we? Let's see. Let's put a bow on this little so we can move on to some other random squirrel topics.
Yeah, squirrels.
Overall, it's a movie that actually was not as bad for me the second time
Mm.
around, but still elements of it were way out of character to the point where I did not enjoy it as much as 1 and 3.
Yeah.
It definitely has moved up beyond above 4 to me,
Mm-hmm.
which is not hard. And that's not even going
Not
into
hard.
the nuclear proof refrigerators.
I know, but see,
No.
I don't have a missus in my life, so I'm allowed to say Kate Blanchett in semi-tight pants being a sexy Russian villainess elevated the film for me. You can't say that, but I can.
Okay. Well, I don't know. My wife lets me say whatever. She's got. She'll just come back with another nice retort. So hey, it's all good.
I'm making that joke for the missus, not you. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
She
Oh,
knows what
that.
I'm saying. She knows what I'm saying. And Kate Blanchett, and she knows what I'm talking about with hairstyles, female
Mhm.
hairstyles. She was wearing what was called a French A-bob, and that was a hairstyle that came out in the 20s and continued up until the 50s. And she looked smashing in that. And she was a great villainess. She also played Hela, or Hela, the goddess of death in Thor Ragnarok. And I thought she did a great job in that. She was, in fact, one of the only good parts of that movie. And
Mhm.
I love, like, if you have a good villainess or villain in a film, for me, it's going to elevate that film. So
Mhm.
I like the villains in Crystal Skulls better than I like in Temple, because I don't think the villains in Temple were very well fleshed out. I don't think they had a lot of oomph to them. Where, in Crystal Skulls, you have a lot of annoying things, but I mean, the Russians were pretty good villains. They're not like you and Daisy said. They're not the certain people who we saw in Hogan's Heroes, wearing very, very distinct outfits and jackboots that are always scarier than anything on earth. But the Russians are a pretty close second. A pretty
Mhm.
close second.
Yeah. No. I agree. If you pick that would be a good group of bad guys to have. I would say. But hey, you know, I I think that this franchise only had one set of really good bad guys. Or if you're going to bring out the commies, bring them out really in force. Do it right. Don't do this commie
Yeah.
light. It just seemed like that
Call me light.
they were just like off with it.
That's beautiful.
Let's
Thank you,
like
man.
let's get them in there. Let's get the Soviets and the MiGs and all the other stuff, and let's get the real guys
Oh
in there.
yeah.
And um,
And
yeah.
let's not forget, the people we're referring to actually created the hardest nuclear bomb ever exploded on the planet, Tsar Bomba.
Hmm.
And they actually could have created something twice as hard, twice as explosive, but the scientists they had working for them to create Tsar Bomba, actually he cheated and made it lower, because as a scientist he knew that if they had gone as hard as he was capable of making it happen for the Stalinists, it
Hmm.
actually could have knocked the Earth off its axis. It was that bad. So 50 megatons, that's acceptable. 70 to 80 megatons or
Hmm.
100 megatons, we're all doomed. And he wasn't going to allow that to happen even as an experiment. But when the Russians are very formidable opponents, and they are very, very scary because their psychology is entirely different, because they are actually born from a czar system, TSAR system of sociology, which goes for over 800 years. So their understanding of how to deal with an enemy and how to look at an enemy and do you choose to perceive someone as an enemy is very different to the goose steppers. Very different to the goose steppers, who are basically, gangsters in better clothing and better outfits.
Mhm.
But in some ways, I would be far more scared of the Russian bear than I would be of a Black Forest goose stepper speaking in code.
Yeah, exactly. And see, you know what? That's the problem with this whole platform and all the social media. It's the fact that we cannot speak history and use
Mm,
terms that were applicable and stuff. We cannot use symbols and stuff like that. Only as a matter of portraying what history was, because I remember Ang, like when the first time I played the game Axis and Allies on stream, was like freaking out about Germany, and I'm like, well,
mm.
one, that's the Iron Cross, but then two, it's like, we're just it's sad that you have to think about things like that when
Yeah.
there's no intent to pressure move and all this other stuff going on. You're just talking
Mm,
either history or you're and I tell you what, the expert historians can get away with the big channel stuff, but it's like the little
mm,
ham and eggers like me that don't have big budgets and resources and time that get caught up in these things because, oh, well, you
mm.
said this wrong. Well, you know um you know I, but I've noticed too, a lot of the historian type people do not, they they're very careful how they use that word. And
Yeah.
but the whole point is, if you understand German, and let me not, I'm about to go off, and the thing is, you understand there's a difference between
Yes.
the military, the politics, the citizenry,
Mm,
and the regime, you
mm.
know and you got to define terms, and terms mean things specifically in that case. But let me stop there before I get off into another big
Oh yeah.
soup.
That's another stream for another time. That's another
Yeah, so
stream
that
for
would be take up about 45 hours on our day. So go ahead.
exactly. But I will just say, like, one of my godmothers escaped a place where people were sent to be in confinement. That's code. That's code.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
she had to do what she had to do. And she that was in Hungary,
Hmm.
Hungaria to other people. And then she made her way to France. And from France, she actually eventually made her way to Australia, believe it or not. And it took over 2 years for her to escape the horrors and then
Hmm.
make it to Australia, where she eventually met my mother in one of the best universities in Australia, and they became fast friends. And so I can't even talk about my godmother's history directly,
Hmm. Right.
even though
Yeah.
it's clear that because of my godmother's history, I am not supporting the people who put the horror upon her.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know,
I know.
I'm trying to support the good stuff, and
I
it's like,
know.
how can you support the good stuff without referencing the history of the bad stuff which we fight against? And on the other,
That's yeah. Well,
stunning and
stunning
brave,
says
right?
is Hungarian on his dad's side. Grandpa's Hungarian immigrant who came to Canada.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
mean,
well, let's see. And we got
where do you
about
want to go
30,
from here?
we
Where's
got
the
about 30
squirrel going to
minutes
go?
left. Well, let's go into outer space, sort of. How about that?
I think I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Well, maybe not. Well, see, and I tell you what, this is happening tonight.
Okay.
This is happening tonight. Apparently, this is out of the National Weather Service in Tallahassee, Florida. Apparently, there was a mission. Let's see. NASA astronauts are returning from space. So between
Mm.
12:05 and 12:20 Eastern, this is the path, the estimated path of their return to Earth. So they basically say if the skies are open, you could actually see along the Florida Peninsula as well as
Mm.
southern Georgia. You could see the re-entry fireball. Additionally,
Ooh, I'm
folks within
jealous.
40 miles left or right of this could hear a sonic boom.
Oh, I'm so envious. Well, there's no way I'm going to be able to experience this here. No way. We got cloud cover here for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the wrong hemisphere, but
Yeah.
I hope everybody on your side of the planet gets to experience this and enjoy this.
Yeah. I don't know if Castle's still here. I might have to tag him on this. But yeah, it's just interesting that I just was popping through tweet and saw this, so you should be able to see it up and down the peninsula no matter where you are. It just depends on the cloud cover. I've not checked the cloud cover out there lately. So, but hey, that's something of new, of a different side. So a little something different. Joseph Dredd said the Habsburgs were cruel to the peasants of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So
Yeah, they were. They were very,
now,
very
weren't the Habsburgs also like
Deutsch.
no? Well, no, weren't they like a Kentucky bloodline where it like went sideways? Wasn't there a lot of? I'm trying to.
I can't answer that.
I don't know. I just it's like in terms of it's like there was a lot of familiar relations. I think weren't there? Okay, but
I can't
anyway,
answer that.
But hey,
as an illustrator. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I can say as
No,
an illustrator, that I can address. There is a term that goes back in portraiture and illustration for over 350 years, and it is referred to as the Habsburg chin. And that happened because of, shall we say, limitations in the options of marriage and children. So, yes.
All right. Okay. Okay. Well, that sounds good. That's a very good answer. All right. Well,
people refer to this is a joke, just to lighten it up. People say that Jay Leno has the Habsburg chin.
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh jeez. Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to lighten it up a little bit because I know we got about half an hour, 40 minutes maybe at the most to finish up.
Let the squirrels fly.
Yes.
You have flying squirrels in America, so I can say that. You do have flying squirrels.
I know. Well, we can take them and throw them out a window, so they'll be flying squirrels. They'll land, but hey. Oh, man. So, yeah. So basically, Master shared that when the wall tumbled, did not know he had an uncle behind it. So we went within the first days to look for him and had some real experiences over there. So, yeah, exactly. And exactly. There's, when you talk to the people there, you know that there's reasons why they can't be conquered. So, but yeah. All right. So we're ready for some fun news.
Yeah.
The missus has gotten quiet. Lisa's gotten quiet. So we don't have picture food. So we don't have more art. It's just a bunch of us guys hanging out. We got 10 wonderful people here. Make sure you've hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We did hit 451 today. What a blast. Only 49 towards 500. And then I got to start thinking of a real 500 celebration.
Oh, that'd be good.
I don't know how you do it after I've done all these 24-hour things already, but geez. But I tell you, it's how much I've appreciated people, and I couldn't believe I ever got 100, much less 250. So let's play a game. How's that sound?
I love the idea.
Except for that stupid Matthew Broderick movie where I want to just bash his head in. Excuse me. That's, to the Galactic Overlords, that was just a metaphorical, hyperbolic statement. I do not mean that in real world. I just hated war games. I know, but I'm saying it for our beloved Galactic benevolent overlords who are watching everything we do and say. So, oh my gosh. All right. Let's do this then. You remember Where in the USA, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I wish I think Mrs. is busy too. She's kind of multitasking tonight, kind of like I had to do sometimes. But let's play this game as long as this stupid thing does not make me sign up for it. Okay, good. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's see. Okay. I'll give you 3 states. All right. Everybody out there, you get 3 states. You tell me which state the story happened in. Okay. I'm going to give you this one. Washington State. Why should I say Washington State? Oregon. California. Right. Washington, Oregon, or California. I'll put it out there in the chat for y'all. Oh gosh. Buddy. You can hate only for Godzilla 98, but War Games is great.
Buddy, you just brought up one of my most dearly loathed and despised films in my entire life. Oh, I am a massive Gojira fan, massive Rodan fan,
Oh, I thought you hated
massive.
war games. So I'm
No,
kidding with you.
no. I mean, war games. Like the thing is, it is
No,
of its
yeah,
time. It is
yeah,
of
I
its
know.
time.
I hated that. I hated all the politics movies back then too. So that's how
Mm.
old I am. But I know Godzilla '98 is not near and dear to your heart. Obviously, we're gonna have to have a rant. We'll have to have another stream just for Godzilla '98. How's that sound?
Oh, I'd be just as, oh man, I would have less nice things to say about that film than The Village.
Whoa. Okay. Well, I know. Well, you were trying hard to be fair, so we'll see what we can do with this. So, all right. All right, you get three states. Okay, we got Washington, Oregon, and California with 11 of y'all watching us. Um, did this happen in Washington, Oregon, or California? Hank the Tank, the bear behind 21 home invasions, has been captured.
Huh?
Hank the Tank, the bear behind 21 home invasions, has been captured. Did that
That's gonna be
happen in
hard for me.
Washington, Oregon, or California?
I don't want to say California, although California is a very big state and it changes drastically when you hit the north versus the south. So it can't be the south of California. Oregon does have some bears. Washington has some bears. I'm going to guess Oregon.
All right. And our friend Small Town Republic's here. Hey, Small Town Republic. Good to see you. He's going to be on our football show in the next couple weeks. One of our resident Auburn fan, B from O, who's been in here earlier, is another Auburn fan. So join me Thursday night. OC Dobbins, who's an Alabama fan, is scheduled to be with me this Thursday. But good to see you, Small Town Republic. He says California. The missus is still lurking there with Washington State.
Hello, Mrs. I think she's going to be right because she's got the psychic connection to the animals versus me. But I'm still going to stick with my answer.
Yep. All right. So anybody else going with that would want to throw an answer? And aliens don't count Megatron. So no, they don't. All right.
Nice one, Megatron.
All righty. So we're gonna go. Let's see. Make sure you. Let's see. What's going on? Washington. Okay. Just checking on the YouTube feed just to be sure. We got 13 likes. Yeah. Make sure y'all hit that like button already, people. And let's see. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube does funky things. So all right. We got 2 votes in. We got you. And what did you say? What was your answer again, Hungry?
My answer was Oregon.
Okay. Just Dread says California. You say Oregon.
I think the missus is correct, but I'm going with Oregon.
Well, I will say, because I think somebody heard about the story, Hank the Tank, the bear behind 21 home invasions, has been captured near Lake Tahoe.
Oh, no!
Authorities in the town of South Lake Tahoe, California, have been on the lookout for exceptionally large animals since February of 2022, after they reported that one single male bear, where's Snortapoopas, had been the cause of, quote, 152 reports of conflict behavior. I'm going to have to take this article and send it to Snort. They referred to animal as, quote, Hank the Tank. Gosh.
I love that. Lake Tahoe is a massive tourism area in California. That's like a massive, I mean, during the summer, you like water ski at Lake Tahoe, you fish at Lake Tahoe, and then during the winter, you ski at Lake Tahoe. I mean, it's wow. And that bear is doing no favors to tourism. Bad bear. Bad.
No, gosh. Small Town Republic said, I once stole a stone from Lake Tahoe. Hey, I'm sending you something in a private chat.
Okay.
So. Right. So, hey, all righty. So, hey, Yep. Hank, DNA testing confirmed that the bear captured on Friday, who is formerly known as Bear 64F, was a female behind at least 21 cases of breaking and entering. What's more, she was trespassing with 3 young cubs in tow.
Oh no, I respect that.
Oh,
I respect
yes.
it. I got hungry kids. I'm gonna feed them. Screw y'all.
Yeah. No, I will say, though, they did say, yeah, it's Mama Bear. Mama Bear's going to protect those cubs, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
And
So,
maybe
hey.
maybe there's less food for Mama Bear to feed her kids because they set up the whole tourism thing there. And she's like, "Oh, you're going to take the food away from me and my children? I'm going to take some food back from you. No
Exactly.
problem."
Well, they said that typically the agency euthanizes so-called, quote, conflict bears due to significant risks they pose to the community, but this bear
Oh.
is no ordinary conflict bear. The more homes that were vandalized in the ritzy waterfront community of Tahoe Keys, about 100
Mm.
miles east of Sacramento, the more public came to the defense of Hank the Tank, blaming the bear's behavior on unsecured garbage cans and habitat encroachment.
Right on.
So they
So
cited the widespread interest as reason they intended to relocate her to a Colorado sanctuary once she received the veterinary clearance.
excellent. And guess what? That implies that because rich people can't be bothered to keep their shit together, that's why the bear came in to feed her cubs. I'm so, yeah, I am not going to do what I am needing to do to be responsible. Someone comes in, and I'm going to blame them for coming in because I can't deal with my trash. I can't deal with my recycling. I can't deal with, oh no. I'm all about the bear. I'm on bear side now. Bison buddies, bear buddies, bear buddies. Let's go bear buddies for a moment. No. I'm glad the bear is okay, but what about the cubs? I want to know the cubs are okay too.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And that's what they did.
Mm.
Yep. Okay. Well, hey, it's a good touching story for people to know that, it did not go the way it normally goes, that it's actually a happy end. Of course, the Colorado governor changed the name to Henrietta the Tank. So
I respect that. It's like, oh, we
yeah.
thought you were no, that's fine.
Yep. So they hope that they say the 3 male cubs who tagged along with several break-ins will also be relocated and rehabilitated. They hope one day will be returned to the wild, having regained a fear of humans. One of the cubs appeared to have suffered serious injuries from a vehicle strike. So, wow. But
so this is a mama with 3 boys to raise. That's a challenge.
Exactly. That's always tough. 3 mouths to feed. So now, see, what the article keeps going on to say about this is that given her diet, it's no surprise that Bear 64F chose the space under a Tahoe Keys home for her den. Wow. She was discovered there in March. Local biologists used the moment to immobilize her, collect DNA, attach an ear tag, and fix a satellite tracking collar. The collar slipped off 2 months later, but the data collected helped differentiate the bear from an Earth-sign population numbering roughly 500 in the Lake Tahoe region.
Yeah.
So the average female bear weighs up to 275 pounds. That's not uncommon for males to weigh more than 500 pounds. Let's see. So much of the diet is plant-based, consists of berry seeds, insects, but the ability to adapt based on the environment is part of what makes them a top predator.
And also, all bears are gonna eat fish. All bears can eat fish, and there's a lot of fish at Lake Tahoe. So and they were there for millions of years before we decided to set up condos in Lake Tahoe. And I know that makes me sound like a hippie, as Cartman would say, but they were there for 20 million years before we decided to build luxury apartments and cabins.
Get this. According to one resident of the area, at least one of the Hanks had a hankering for dessert. The bear ate a 2-gallon tub of ice cream from her neighbor's trash can.
Oh, come on. I would.
Yes.
depending on the ice cream. I mean, if it was strawberry ice cream,
So
no. But if
I
it's
guess the
chocolate
whole
ice
thing,
cream, yes.
I guess that they have bear safe, bear safe trash cans,
Bear
I
safe.
guess. Let's see. Oh, we're laughing. Hey, Masters, let me get back to it, Masters. Well, now you have your own personal German as a friend, and this way it should be. I am happy that I'm able to be connected with you like I am and feel nothing but respect for you guys. And the feeling is definitely mutual,
Yep.
MMM. So great
100%.
to
Right
have you
back
with
at
your
you.
knowledge in here. And, like I was talking about, wanting to know more about where Hungary's, from and stuff down there. I mean, it's great to hear about other parts of the world and stuff. Places I probably will never get to, and only a map and pictures and books will never do you justice. That's one of the reasons why we shared our vacation with everybody, was to kind of share some time and have a share it, and hopefully y'all got a chance to enjoy things that definitely parts of the country we would never see again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was wonderful. That's some of my favorite, not just my favorite streams that you and the missus did, but my favorite streams on YouTube in general. I just love that stuff. And especially when you were going to the Arch Park and we were
Mhm.
seeing what that gentleman was doing with all his very creative sculpture. That meant the world to me. And also, like, the other thing too, from your side of things, when you were explaining how difficult the cannon troops, their world had to be, like, in order to get those cannons to fire, clean them out, reload them, fire again. That was some very serious stuff. And then the quilting, and then, but we you know how it is. We got to compliment the food and how you guys were going with the
Yeah.
food, and sharing the food, and and the beautiful, seeing sometimes the missus would get those photos of some mist on the water, but then she would show the beauty of the mountains. And then that other stuff I really liked was, when you guys were driving and you were going through those tunnels through
Hmm.
the mountains, and that was some wonderful footage and wonderful photos. There's something really special. I think you have to be a fantasy or a sci-fi fan to really appreciate it. It's like Lord of the Rings when you're going through a long tunnel and you see that light at the end, but you're appreciating being underneath the hill or the tunnel while you were driving through it. That was just wonderful stuff from you guys. Wonderful
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. Thank you. All right. Well, let's go to another funny one in here. I got a bad feeling some people might have heard about this one,
Uh-oh.
but okay, we're gonna stick. We're
Uh-oh.
gonna we're gonna stick with those same three states: Oregon, Washington, California.
Which also have a preponderance of UFO sightings between them. I
Well,
have
that
to
well,
add.
like Stunning was saying about UFOs, would be Oregon. But what's funny though is that, because this is a game that I first kind of heard off a radio
Mm.
station in Knoxville, and they're the whole thing was to pick on Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so rival states in football. So it's kind of like really stupid headlines. See, I'm doing strange news. They do
Mm.
like a burglar falls in toilet or something. They criminals type stuff, and I'm just getting okay. I'm going to do one that I've done, that I've shared, that's been public before. But it's kind
Mm.
of a funny one in a minute. But uh,
Burglar falls in toilet.
yeah, well, hey,
National Enquirer.
okay, we're back to wildlife. An otter is hassling
Oh.
surfers and stealing their boards.
Mm.
An otter is hassling surfers and stealing their boards. Did that happen in Washington, Oregon, or California?
I'm going to lose, but I'm going to say California.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what other people may say with that. 11 people. Hey, we still got 11 people with us tonight. Hey,
That's not bad.
make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, all that stuff. So, hey, we're still at, let's see where we go. Okay, buddy, say it. Let's see. I can't remember where it went. I think there's Oregon. There's California, Washington, Oregon.
Again, I think
right.
Mrs.
You said
Dadman, I
California?
think she's right. Well, can I change
Okay.
my answer? I'm going to change my answer to
Okay.
Washington as well.
Okay. All right. Here we go, folks. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Buddy, don't spoil it, but you're right. An otter in Santa Cruz is hassling surfers and stealing
I
their
was
boards.
right. I changed my answer.
You were
and I was
right.
right. Oh,
What did they tell you in school? Never change your answer.
I know.
See?
You know, the funny thing is, I lived in Santa Cruz for 2 years, and now I'm really kicking myself. Oh,
Well, look at. We even have a picture. If it will load up. They've been confronting. The word says it says that they're confronting. Have been confronting surfers. You know, so come on, there you go. Finally, hey, see there.
that's so cute. Oh,
Yeah, well, an aggressive sea otter in California is hassling locals by riding boards she stole from surfers in the lineup.
I love that.
It's like, hey, the wild strikes back. You know, why not? like Bambi. Everybody's like, hey, well, what if Bambi had the thing to come back after you hunters? You know, it's like.
Have you ever? I don't think you've seen it. You might have seen it. There's a 5% chance that you've seen it, but there's a 20% chance the missus has seen it. Have you ever seen a funny hand-done independent animation from around 1969 called Godzilla versus Bambi?
No, I haven't.
You will feel guilty if you laugh at it, but you're going to laugh at it. Can you ask the missus if she's seen Godzilla versus Bambi?
I will do it, Mrs. If you're still lurking, can you answer? She guessed at Washington, so if not, I'll make sure to ask her. Godzilla versus Bambi. Okay, I'll have to do. It's actually since you live in Santa Cruz, it's I guess Steamer Lane is a legendary point break along the Rocky Shores.
Yeah,
so Buddy says
that's for
surfing.
That's for surfing. That is not for body surfing, not for swimming. You don't go in there without a board.
Mrs. says I haven't, but I'll definitely look for it. Buddy might be remember. But Bambi meets Godzilla. Hey. Joseph Dredd says Bambi, Godzilla versus Bambi.
You guys remember? It's actually, I mean, it's like the humor we're not allowed to get away with now, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And so you will laugh. I will send you and the missus the link shortly, but we won't distract from the stream. You will laugh.
Yes.
It's bad humor. It's like Saturday Night Live 1975 humor, but
then we'll love it.
Before
Then we'll love it. And Small Time says an otter viciously attacked a woman in Montana. Yeah, I tell you, there you can't. Even small animals can be wild and vicious too, and stuff. And what got me was the fact that within weeks, or not even a week, we had some other friends that went to Yellowstone, but not even a week after they got back, or maybe the same week, there was goring up there and stuff. People get too close to the bison and stuff, and it's like take selfies and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, but yeah, I'm not. It's still wildlife. They're wild animals, and you got to be careful. You can't take it.
Well, you remember Crocodile Dundee, right? You and the missus have seen that. Okay, so
everything about it's perfectly Australian, right?
Well, no, but the thing is, the water bison does exist here. So that huge water bison, where one of the first times we see Crocodile Dundee, and he does like the water bison whisperer thing, and he tries, the water bison lies down. We do have those animals here. Do not get near them. Leave them alone. Just admire them from a distance.
Yeah. Well, they said in this case, while there have been no confirmed reports of injury due to the highly unusual behavior of the otter, kayakers, surfers, and other recreating in the area should not approach the otter or encourage the otter's interactions. So, as a photographer said, he had photographed hundreds of otters over the years, but had never seen something like this. He's witnessed the otter bully surfers 3 times in less than a week. So.
I mean, a lot of people are very dumb and they don't realize when they see an otter, it is not a seal.
Yep.
And there are a lot of seals in Santa Cruz too, and up and down the western coast.
Ooh.
And yeah, up and down the western coast. Now, a seal is a totally
Well,
different animal, but you have people who are dumb enough to confuse a badger and an otter.
yeah.
Ugh.
Well, here's something though that it gets a little serious with the article that
Hmm.
that yeah, they were hunted to near extinction for fur in the 1700s, 1800s. Population has since rebounded and becoming a protected species. It's a key predator in the coastal ecosystems in California.
Hmm.
But what they say is that once the otters is caught, will not be able to return to the wild. Apparently, it's been tagged or something because it's officially known as Otter 841. Was born
Hmm.
in captivity because his mother had also been too friendly with humans. Then successfully released into the wild in June 2020, and
Hmm.
it wasn't until 2022 that this bizarre behavior started, which probably tells me there was probably some human interaction that caused
Yeah.
something to happen. But it's it's you know. So hey, don't mess with the wildlife, folks.
Well,
Do
if they're born in the wild, let them be in the wild. There are stories like this about orcas, the killer whales, who are raised from a young age in human captivity, and then they're released in the wild, and then they kind of go off their nut. And
go off their
that
nuts. That's too funny. I love it. But hey, Masters is still sticking with Oregon till that's the
ah,
correct answer. Small Town Republic says everything in Africa and Australia can kill you.
it's
We
true.
got hardware wars. Uh, oh, hey, stunning. My grandpa on my mom's side owns a boat and once had a seal sneak onto the boat in the boat garage.
Oh,
It's,
nice one. And also going since we're talking about animals, going back to food, let me just say I have eaten emu medallions. I have had rattlesnake. I have had python. I've had kangaroo and I've had crocodile. And I gotta say, I kind of like the rattlesnake best.
okay.
I like
Wow.
meat. I like meat, but the thing is, I don't like gamey, rubbery meat. I don't like anything that tastes or
Mhm.
feels in my mouth like you say. You don't like eggs. You don't like the texture of them.
Right.
You don't eat them. So for me, I don't like anything that is like rabbit. And a kangaroo, when you eat the meat, it's just like rabbit. It's just a giant
Hmm.
rabbit that can bounce around. And I respect them and I love them. So don't kill them and don't eat them. Let's just eat the emus instead. The
Right.
emus are good eating. Crocodile is okay. It's all right. I haven't had gator meat. I can't compare
Yeah.
it to gator meat. I would like to try gator meat because
It's
if they're going to,
nothing. It's really nothing. It's just like any other meat. I mean, it depends how it's bred and how it's prepped. Really, you need it. I think fried and really a good batter coating.
mm,
I think I've had gator tail once in a while, but it really didn't jump out at me. I think you really have to have a good seasoning on it. But
I
that's just
agree.
me. But
And the
yeah,
one thing I'll say, and I hope this doesn't get any trouble for the channel, is if any animal is willing to eat me, I'm willing to eat it.
oh, there you go. That works. All right.
So I eat shark. I love shark. Shark is great. People who
Yeah.
complain about shark, oh no, pan fried shark with the right seasoning and the right crumbing. Oh, that is a good eating fish. Good eating fish. And they will eat us in a second. So I got no compunctions about eating shark. Now the entire shark fin trade for the sake of soup, where you like rip off the fin of the shark and then the shark dies and all you did was eat the fin. No, that's not acceptable. That's I hate.
Mhm.
I'm going to sound like a hippie. Sorry, Cartman,
It's
but
okay.
if you're going to do something to a shark, you eat the whole damn shark.
You're right. Yeah. They've had it before. Even the wild boars around here. It's like
Mm.
I've seen them, and they just left on the side. People just take the back straps, and
Oh
you know,
no, no, that's not acceptable. There's so
no, I
much
just
meat to eat on that animal. So much
yeah,
meat to eat. You got to show
yeah,
respect to anything you kill. Anything you
exactly.
kill. I mean, it's like here in Australia, we use all the chicken, we use all the fish, we use all the boar. And that's the only way that we can get pie. We use all the sheep. We use a lot of stuff from sheep.
Guess
Some
what?
stuff. Yeah.
Buddy Hepburn already beat you to the link. He
Oh
smashed me the link.
no!
I tell you what, for that kid, he's sharp. He's
Buddy's
sharp, man.
sharp.
Yes, he is. Oh God, Cartman would hate Burning Man.
Oh God, I hate Burning Man. I was making fun of Burning Man before South Park did. Burning Man.
Burning
I mean,
Man.
just to quote Hartman, hippies, they want to save the world. All they do is smoke pot, smell bad.
Yes. Oh God. Well, we're going to go a little bit longer because I understand that Mark's going to start a little bit later. So
Yeah.
we're going to go a little bit longer. So since we do it, hey, I got another story for us. This is one right up to Mrs. Hart and Allie. You know, she'd love this story. Roller coaster riders were trapped upside down for hours after mechanical failure.
Whoa, that sounds like a
Did that happen in Georgia, Florida, or Wisconsin?
That's hard. Georgia, Florida, or Wisconsin? That's covering a lot of ground.
Yeah. Sometimes they have to, you know. Sometimes everything happens. It spreads out. So hey,
Florida, Wisconsin. Okay, I got to go with Wisconsin.
okay. And no, Small Time Republic agrees with Wisconsin. So let me put it right here for people. Florida, Georgia, Wisconsin. So there you go, folks. So hey, Buddy is saying Wisconsin also. All right, so give it a few seconds, a few more seconds to see, and yeah, Wisconsin, yeah. Goodness. So, do you? By the way, I mean you may not now, but did you ever ride roller coasters and rides like that?
Well, before I got half crip,
Mhm.
that was one of my. I'm not allowed to go on them anymore because of my condition, etc. But
Right, right.
I love them. Roller coasters were one of my favorite things in the world, and I
Mhm.
love the really classic ones, like an 80-foot drop on those rickety ass
Yeah,
wooden ones.
I love wooden
That's my.
roller coasters.
Oh, those are my favorite. The classic ones are my favorite because you get that sense of like gravity disappearing when you hit that first really hard drop with a really significant degree and angle. So I don't care about going upside down. I
Mhm.
like the going from up to down and then the big swerve to the side. Just there's something about defying gravity in a classic roller coaster, whereas with the ones that do the loop de loops and everything, they have you strapped in so hard. They
Mhm.
have you confined so much that you don't actually feel the physics affecting your body. And so I visually I appreciate them. I
Yep.
visually appreciate them, but I like to feel that defiance of gravity in a classic roller
I tell you
coaster.
what, I tell you, my favorite one was riding Velocicoaster in Orlando. You get
Oh,
to that hat tip, and especially if you're on that
oh,
first seat, you look straight
mm,
down at almost 90 degrees angle. You're off the seat against the lap
mm.
bar, and then you hang there for just a half a second before you go plummet down. So
I am
I
so
love
envious. I'm
hanging.
so
I did
envious.
the Hulk coaster at Universal like 5 times last week. So and
Oh,
it has loops, corkscrews, and all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead. Uh, Small Town Republic said going upside down turns me. And Master says I love kangaroo beef jerky, and
oh, it's
I
good.
stick to
Yes.
what I've learned down under. Can't eat it, don't feed it. So hey, all right, we're going to see this. Roller coaster riders were trapped upside down for hours. Try it again. Roller coaster riders were trapped upside down for hours after mechanical failure. A summer amusement turned into a serious nightmare on Sunday after a roller coaster malfunctioned in midair, trapping eight passengers upside down for several hours. The oscillating fireball was just sliding down from its vertical loop at the Forest County Festival in Crandon, Wisconsin. When it stopped unexpectedly because of a mechanical failure.
I finally got one right.
There you go. Hey, proud of you. Everybody got that one right. Lisa didn't even guess, and that, you know, Mrs. I think the Mrs. didn't even guess. There's several people that didn't guess in there, but hey, you know, it's awesome. But see, this is what the Mrs. always said. Her dad used to work in fairs, carnivals, and stuff, and always told him never trust the rides. And this looked like a fair operation. So, see, here you go.
We have the carnival here. We got the carnival here, man.
There you go.
Oh,
and I tell you, one thing I learned early in life, not to lie to my wife, and the one thing, because she's like, if you can promise me that the ride will never get stuck upside down, I'll ride it with you. And now, as much as we've gone to Disney and Universal, I think those rides will never stop upside down, but I can never make that promise. Yeah. And I think one of the Universal rides did stop upside down once, and I'm sitting there like, holy crap, I'm glad I didn't tell her they don't. It says, but still, you got that, and then of course you got the rescue with the.
Oh God!
I mean, my God, how do you? That fear of coming out of that seat with gravity hitting you, you know, that's got to be freaky coming out of that seat being rescued like that.
See, I don't know what's going on in this picture you're showing, but it appears to be that they're like getting people out of
they are. They're rescuing them.
Seats, and then they have to go down the ladders. And the thing is, that means that the harness, and you know what I mean by the harness, that means the harness has to be released while you're upside down.
I know. It's like, I'm worried about that harness failing, you know? We don't trust those harnesses. Oh my gosh. Buddy's talking about there are more hybrid coasters. They retrofit the old wooden coaster with a steel track and inner framing. Yep.
Oh, dear.
I still like the old wooden one, so that's Masters of Oregon for the coaster again. Fake it till you make it. Yeah, and see, you know, that's one here. This is one right here. That the Mrs. You know, like I said, that if she's here can talk to a little bit more, is that her dad worked carnival rides and stuff like that, and always warned them don't ride because they do have like in our state they have inspectors, they have things like that, but still, you know, these things are being used all the time. Put down, you know, so it just. You know, they're kind of scary, but then again, there's also been reports of established parks having their own issues. There's one that in North Carolina that actually had a park where they showed video of the what do you call it? The support rail. The track was off the support rail up there, and every time the cars would go over it, it would shake. It just, definitely an interesting thing to see. So. Let's see. But, you know, definitely things that you want to do. Not to do or be careful of. Make sure you have good insurance, though. There's one ride that the missus said, get on. And I did once. And, oh, my God. I truly was praying the whole time on that ride. Yeah.
You know what, though? You know what, though? It's a credit to you and the missus. Doesn't matter how bad a coaster would be. You probably wouldn't scream as badly as Willie did.
No, nobody can scream as much as Willie. Dear God, nobody can scream as Willie.
Oh, I mean, that was something. I'm going back for a moment, then we'll get back to what we're talking about. But, you know, I love the fact that you and Daisy were referencing how many screams were in the movie.
Daisy was such a sweetheart. Daisy knew her stuff, and it was like, streaming with her, just like, and Daisy did 2 streams last week. I don't know if you know that. She did the football one as my first guest, and folks, go back and watch that video too. That was an awesome time. We got to show the Cal Stanford lateral game.
Oh, cool!
One of the greatest plays in all of football. You know, she shared some of her stories about her dad and with football and stuff like that. It was really, really a nice. And folks, come watch the football shows. I mean, even if you don't know football, don't like them, it's the human interest stuff, getting to know people, hearing about what sports meant in their life, the events that they had. just that's what I'm here for. And those are the things it gives me a chance to talk SEC football, rant about the Gators and their coach needs to be fired. But, all that comes and goes. What's important is my guests and talking to them and learning what the special times that they've had, I encourage people don't lock out sports completely. There is a lot of good in it. There is a lot of memories of bonding and geekdom and nerds and stuff that can happen in the world of sports if you just give it a chance. Yeah. And Small Time Republic. Hey, here you go. This is my guy for Auburn a couple weeks. Cal and Stanford, 2 ACC powerhouses. Yes, exactly. That I talked about last night when I did an impromptu football stream, which I don't know. I might do some of that on Saturday nights now. It had a few people in it, had some good response, passionate people talking football for a bit, So, but exactly. Cal Stanford, I can show you if you have a second after the stream when we get done. So, because it's one of those plays that it's like Tacaloco, rugby, whatever, just all thrown into one thing. And a poor band member. Everybody just say, hey, the Stanford band member was the most famous guy in television for 20 years, And if you know what I mean by that. So, Small Time Republic, I hear that, but you can't replace, what is this, Hungry, what is the thing? You can't replace stupid. You can't coach stupid. You can't, because the Florida's coach is just making some god awful mistakes in team prep and stuff like that. That's something you can't out. It just, his game day coaching, lack of offensive decision making. That's what people keep telling me. I'm like Deion Sanders. One of the things that I talked about last night was that Colorado Buffaloes ended up turning over 80 players on their roster. They had like 53 new transfers in this year because Deion Sanders, who was prime time, old Hall of Famer, NFL guy, college at FSU, he said, I don't want to hear about culture. Everybody keeps talking about culture. And he remembered back in the days when he played. The quarterback and the receivers hated each other. But you know what? When it came time to play, they were on the same page. And it was like refreshing to hear a coach actually talk about that for once. But I'm digressing into sports. But yeah. But hey, go back, watch that stream last night. But I appreciate that. Thank you, Small Time, because I've said the same thing about you guys at Auburn, because I think you've got a great coach now. And I think y'all had a great day yesterday. I know it was a weak opponent, but still, at least y'all blew them out and y'all looked good doing it. And that's an improvement. WKG Gaming's back, said, yo, Dad, just bought a wireless earbuds so I can hear him in the staff room. Awesome. Great to do it. Hey, fight the power. We subvert all expectations. Well, shoot, no, we put expectations up and Johnson's whatever and just send him to the moon. That guy's going to the moon. So anyway, I am rambling. Sorry. I got hyped up with that one. Let me find one more story to share with you. Because this is one that I shared with another streamer a long time ago, and they used it on their show. And I've used it before, but yes, there we go, from the smoking gun. All right. I'm going to try to, okay. Play the banjos, folks. Play the banjos.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. All right. Did this happen in Alabama, Kentucky, or Florida? Kentucky, Alabama, Florida. This will be their last story for the night. Okay, Kentucky, Alabama, Florida. Okay, there we go. There's your options. So with 8 people still here watching us, you ready? Hungry? You ready? Okay, hold on to your Joeys and everything else. Motorist named Booze arrested for, you guessed it, drunk driving.
Oh, that's going to be here in Australia, in Queensland.
Is that Kentucky, Alabama, or Florida? Oh, my, look at Masters coming in now. with the squirrel moment of the night. For your next movie review, I'll put Indiana Mall and the Temple of Fools on your watch list. Okay, Small Time says Alabama. Master still says Oregon. You pulled it stunning now, going without the option.
Okay, I'm gonna have a trick answer. Okay.
All right.
Because Florida gets so many dumbass tourists from up north, I'm gonna guess Florida. Because it's not going to be a Floridian who did it. It's going to be a dumbass from New Jersey.
Okay. Anybody else with answers? This is our last story for the night.
Peru.
Yes, I know. Thank you, Masters. You got Stunning was really good tonight. Stunning was staying with the choices until you. Yep. Thank you, Masters. Oh, wow.
I don't want to say Alabama or Kentucky. I just don't want to say it. So I'm going with Florida.
All righty. So we will go with 5. Oh, gosh. Alabama's treasurer is named Young Booster. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I think we got 4 people answer. We got 8 here. So we probably got about everybody. And you said Florida. Okay.
Yep.
Motorist named Booze arrested for, you guessed it, drunk driving. A Florida woman named Booze was arrested for drunk driving after allegedly slamming her car. Wait, hold on. Into a Taco Bell sign and then fleeing the scene. Cops charge.
That's terrible.
No, it gets better. You blamed it on the New Jersey bills, okay? And I agree. Okay, that's what I would have thought. But hey, Booze, 34, was busted late Friday following a crash near her home in St. Petersburg.
Oh, no.
Booze was charged with DUI involving property damage, leaving the scene of an accident, and driving with a suspended or revoked license.
Oh.
Okay? Now, I'm not showing the mugshot, okay?
No, don't.
But Booze, seen it right, was released from the county jail Saturday morning after posting bond. Booze works at the Taco Bell where the crash occurred.
It's too familiar. It's just too Queensland, Australia. It's just so much
for the border. Taco Bell drive-through. Oh gosh. Well, according to the rest report, she struck a tree, the Taco Bell sign, and the eatery's water meter. About 10:20 p.m. So she was collared after being spotted speeding through 2 red lights near the restaurant. Okay, so all the typical stuff. But I figured that would be a hell of a one to go with because the dang Booze, drunk driving, and she ran into the place of employment.
It's classic. It's classic. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. I love it. I feel at home with that story. Yes. There's so many stories like that here in Australia you never hear about. Poor Booze. Oh, poor Booze. I hope she's okay wherever she is. Oh God. She didn't hit anybody though, right? It was just like structural
No, it's just property.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right. She swerved at the last minute.
Yes, exactly. But hey. Well, folks, with that note, I'm going to talk to Hungry Boy for a few minutes afterwards. We got 88 great people here. Thanks for coming in, spending almost 2.5 hours with me tonight, celebrating us hitting 451. We finally got over that 450 mark, which is awesome to see. Thank you for everybody for your support, and just really, thank you for being here. Thank you, the Hungry Boy, for all that you do and helping support the channel and encouragement. To me, to the missus and everything. Of course, I want to shout out to Daisy also for her help this week with 2 streams with the football and for
Temple.
I mean, she's had a lot going on, and she really did a lot this week with Temple of Doom Friday night and with the football stream too. And I encourage you, go back. You've heard Daisy, you've heard her on the movies. Go back and watch our stream from Wednesday night or Tuesday night because we had to move it up a night because of the hurricane. Go back and watch it. You're gonna like that. It's a lot. If you like watching us in the Temple of Doom, you know, that that's you're gonna love hearing of our memories, both of us, some with our dads and things like that. It's really, and like I said, join us for those streams because that's even if it's not live, watch them. Even if you watch them in replay, forget the football. I don't care. Okay, my analysis, I suck anyway. Whatever. I'm just a ham and egg doing stuff. But go listen to the part where we talk with the guests and talk football. We talk about life stories. That's the most important, I think, thing that I start off stunning. Now I'm calling you stunning. I was calling you clubby before. I think it's because of that. I think it's because your avatar. Why I kept trying to call you clubby, but it's really what started as something as a thing to have guests on to talk. Really has personally become more of an important thing than the football itself.
Yeah.
And it started, and I tell you, with the very first with the misses, then I had Squeaka on, and people had sharing very personal events and things have happened. People that have been on these sports shows and stuff. It's really been a great time, and I've learned to really like that element of it with the people, as much, if not more, than the actual sports side of it, folks. So please go back and watch those. So. Did I say, but Taco Bell drive-through there. B from O, what that game is called? Well, there's two in creative. One is called the Pit, and then there's like the Mega Pit or the there. If you go back and watch our stream this morning, B from O, we had Castle. We took Castle down in there. It's not just the Pit. It's like an advanced pit or something that has more weapons, and either one of those two in creative, that's the one you want to do for your XP on those XP and creative modes. So but yeah, exactly. It's early on when we got Castle. I think the Miss and I may have done one match or maybe two matches, but when you see Castle early on, you'll see it there. She would know, but I think she's occupied at the moment. So with that, folks, next scheduled stream is next Thursday, but I could go live at any moment. Follow me on Twitter for those things. Ultra Pit, there she goes. Yeah. Oh no, hey, no problem. This is a squirrel stream, B from O. We like changes and challenges like that, and Ultra Pit. Yeah, there you go. That too, stunning. All right, but hey, the next scheduled stream, like I said, is Thursday night. Next, it'll be football, and my scheduled guest is OC Dobbins. You may not like, I got my one Alabama fan coming on for this season, so it's Texas at Alabama week, so we're gonna have an Alabama fan on the next 2 weeks, and the next 2 weeks we got two people that are here. I hope it's still in the chat. Both Auburn fans. B from O, the following. The B from O on the 21st and Small Time Republic on the 28th. So look forward to talking football with these guys, especially with them with an up and coming exciting team. So, all right, with that, God, I almost did it. Hungry. Any last words? So.
I just love it when you do that. I think that's really funny. I love it.
I don't mean to. It's just it keeps slipping out naturally. So.
I will say one thing, a semi last word. I reckon Daisy probably doesn't like Blair Witch Project much more than I do.
We'll have to ask her that. We will have to ask her that when we get the chance. So, my friends, on that note, y'all have a great night. I will probably be streaming something tomorrow. Since it's Labor Day here in America, it's a day off. Maybe a daytime Fortnite stream. Maybe if I got somebody willing to come on and just shoot the shit for a while, go live and we'll just go with the flow, use the force again and squirrel everywhere. But hey, on that note, everybody, thank you for being here. Hit that like button. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Thank you for 451 subs already. And look at this guy. Yemi, thank you for being here, for lurking. You lurk. See, I like it when you lurk. I love lurkers, but I also like when you at least say hi, because then I like get to say hi to you. But thank you for saying good night, Yemi. Good to see you. Enjoy your day off tomorrow, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, there will probably be something tomorrow. You know, I got enough energy, enough air to talk. It will probably come in, come out. But you know, probably get a good night's rest tonight and start tomorrow, and then we'll see how it goes. But hey, on that note, the videos and live streams are both on YouTube and Twitch TV at Dadman Walking 55, and streaming is get the latest updates when I go live. Make sure you hit the notifications on Twitch, hit the bell on YouTube, but also make sure you're still subscribed. It does not always work because I know other people. JT Kirk is one. Clobby also it's been my tweet that's gotten them and streams like that they were coming on. You know, basically that tweet. You know, follow me on Twitter, and it's one and only at Dadman Walking 55. At Dadman Walking 55. There's somebody out there with one of the old avatars and a different at, but if you don't see that, it ain't me. On that note, like Stunning says, good night, y'all. Take care, and we will see you next time. Bye, all.
Sweet dreams.